Well, howdy, and welcome to Conversations with Coyotes. My name is Bravado, I am a coyote, and this is The Conversation. Our society is built on a foundation of order and patterns. Now, this ain't exclusive to human beings, but we've taken it to the extreme. And it's not just at a societal level, but a personal one as well. Because even the most disorganized among us relies on some sort of system to be able to know where things are and or belong, including ourselves. And it may not make sense to someone else, but it works for us, and that's what matters. And just like with possessions, I think we have a need to be able to do the same thing with people and relationships. And that's where it gets more complicated. Because the people on the other side of those relationships may not necessarily categorize their relationship with us in the same way, and that feeling of dissonance leads to this internal conflict. So now we have this thing that we can't easily put into a container and file away, and that makes us feel as though we're doing something wrong. I bet every single one of y'all knows at least one person that you think of as more than just an acquaintance, but maybe not quite a friend. Someone who reciprocates conversations but doesn't start them, or someone you only talk to when you see them in person at a con. And no matter how positive the interactions y'all have with this person, the inaction and lack of initiative speaks volumes in and of itself. You're left with this weird unknown space where you like this person and you wouldn't mind more engagement, but for whatever reason, those feelings don't seem to be shared. How do you categorize that? But to ask that feels like it's maybe ignoring the real problem, which is that you have this relationship that you don't know what to do with. To be able to give it a name, while convenient, won't actually end up making it any less frustrating to think about. So if it's really that much of a thorn in your side, and that's perfectly understandable if it is, the only real solution is to talk to them about it. And that's maybe kind of a scary prospect, but you need to do it because it's the only way to potentially turn that dissonance into harmony. I imagine that if you're feeling this way, you've spent your share of time making assumptions about this person, what they think of you, and so on and so forth. But if you can pull yourself out of that mindset and approach them directly, you may be pleasantly surprised. It's really easy to fall into this trap of taking our insecurities and projecting them outward, assuming that there's some specific thing about us that makes a person not want to associate with us. But the likelihood of that being the case is so slim as opposed to them simply being distracted and pulled in 1,000 different directions just like we are. If you don't believe me, try this. Open Telegram, well, don't actually go open Telegram right now because I want you to finish watching this, but try to imagine your Telegram app. Picture your recent chats window, and now use your imaginary digit to start scrolling down through that list. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. It's pretty long, right? How old is the oldest one? And how many have you been active in the last week? In the last month? You see what I mean? It's not that we're making a conscious decision to ignore those people. We care about them and they're our friends, but life gets in the way. It's not a very good or satisfying excuse, but it is what it is. And knowing that, hopefully you feel a little bit better about reaching out to those relationships that are stressing you out. At the very least, you'll be doing what you can, and if the person on the other end still doesn't seem interested, it could be a sign that your time might be better spent scrolling down through those neglected chats and reconnecting with some of the other people you haven't talked to in a while. It's never a great feeling when we have to acknowledge that a relationship ain't and may never be what we had hoped for, but sometimes it's the reminder we need to refocus on our existing friendships. That's not to say you should never try, just that it shouldn't come at the expense of the people who already care about you. Anyway, that's all I got for this round. Come see me at Texas Furry Fiesta. Thanks for listening to me ramble, and I'll catch y'all later.